Have you ever noticed your insurance rates going down?
Not really. It hasn't gone down for ages.
There have been a lot of promises that they will.
Well, they keep promising.
Have your insurance rates ever gone down?
Not that I can recall. Not since, after I was a teenager.
Ontario has close to 10 million drivers. For years, the government has promised to reduce insurance premiums, but for the most part, drivers have not seen a savings. One of the reasons for that, Finance Minister Charles Sousa says, is because of ballooning fraud costs to the point of $1.6 billion a year. So today, the Liberal government announced their new Fair Auto Insurance Plan, which aims to crack down on fraud. Here are some of the highlights. A standard injury treatment plan will be implemented for common collision injuries. A process will be put in place to help reduce disputes over diagnosing and treating injuries. A serious fraud office will also be established in the spring aimed at combating fraud. Guidelines will also be established to try and rein in legal fees. Now, of course, this is not the first time the Liberals have promised to crack down on fraud. Today, it was the announcement of a serious fraud office, but just a few years ago, Minister Sousa also promised a similar thing, the fraud squad. I asked him about that today. Minister, you yourself supposedly implemented a fraud squad back in 2014. What happened to that? Has fraud ever actually been reduced?
Well, it's been identified, right? Now we've highlighted the fact that there's been, we've uncovered tremendous amount of systemic fraud in the system. So a serious fraud office is being established with prosecution, with the enablement of enforcement, so that we can act on these things and go after criminality. I mean, these are illegal activities, and it's being done by many.
Now, Gord Rosbach, he oversees the anti-fraud management department for Aviva Canada. He actually finds this new plan quite promising. He's optimistic that it will make a difference. This is the scope of the problem from his point of view. He says his company investigates more fraudulent claims than any other insurance company combined, which is about 1,200 a year. He says that is just a drop in the bucket of the fraud that actually occurs, from health providers to paralegals and lawyers and auto body shops. There are a lot of people involved in car insurance claims and also in the fraud. But Rosbach also admits that insurance companies themselves are partially to blame.
There's been abuse for a long time. The system's broken. Some of the blame has to go with insurance companies. Some insurance companies choose to fight fraud on behalf of their honest customers, and the other ones aren't so active at it. And so really part of the government's action should be to make the insurance companies, the way they do in other countries, do something about the fraud.
The focus should be on caring for the injured person as opposed to paying out cash, right?
Exactly. The cash payments create pockets of money. And then all the opportunists and the organizations and some of the supply chain, the legal profession, the healthcare profession, all want to dip into the pockets and grab their piece. And getting rid of the cash and taking those dollars and committing it to the people who are actually injured is the way to go.
Rosbach says premiums should come down if these measures are implemented properly. He also believes that another way to reduce fraud is that insurance companies should be fined if they fail to report instances of fraud. That is currently the law in many other jurisdictions, but not here in Ontario.